Welcome back. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. And I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about something that someone wrote a comment to me that it's got me thinking. Something that I've always kind of had in my mind, but someone says something that just really got to me. And I just want to kind of read the whole thing in reality. It says, people don't realize that dogs don't think they are human. They think humans are dogs. Use that perspective and your training will be easier. It's something that I've always, man, since day one I walked in anyone's home looking at your dog. Especially the dogs that the day one I was walking in and seeing that these dogs are biting people. And then I would see the dog and I'm like, oh, the dog is just, it's happy as can be. It's not mean, aggressive, mad, irritated. It's not any of that. It's happy. And what I started to realize is these dogs don't think that we are anything other than them because we do the same stuff to them that dogs do to dogs. That's something that is really fascinating to really think about. And I hope to be able to let someone else hear this and understand this the same way that I understand it. And from this person being able to write that to be able to help out more people. Because there's always this training stuff that goes on that, the dog corrects the dog. So we should be able to correct the dog. The dog submissive rolls the dog. So we should submissive roll the dogs. I don't know what else to add with that, but I guess that's enough for us to really understand. But because the dog does it to a dog, it's cool for us as humans to be able to do that same thing. The dog is going to understand. And I believe that that's where the confusion really comes in. Because the dog is thinking and looking at us as we're something different. But when we start doing the same stuff to them, they have no choice but to treat us the same way. So when you start to say, play with the dog in a way that another dog plays with the dog, expect that the dog is going to chew on you, wrestle with you, booty bump you, knock you around, jump all on you, try to chew on your neck, chew on your face, lick you all up and down. They're going to go crazy. They're going to do maddening, wilding things. They're going to run up to you and just bum rush you. They're going to take your food from you. They're going to do everything that a dog is going to do to a dog, to you, the human. And that is destructive in reality. And then, worst case side of it is if you're trying to correct and work with the dog the way that another dog does, because what dogs do to dogs, they test and push and they don't just submit and fold right away. In most cases, if they do, something later on happens that the dog has to fight back. That's like, I would say 99% of the in-house dog fights that I work with and realize what's going on. The dog has been pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And one day it fights back. And that one day it fights back and it bites and it puts the other dog in the hospital because it's got to get stitches or whatever. Usually it was us as humans were like, that bit is the bad dog. I need to train this dog. This is the wrong dog. And in reality, no. That dog's been getting picked on for 2 or 3 or 4 straight years. And it's getting sick and tired of it and it can't handle it anymore. So it has to retaliate. And, think about it, where a lot of people are getting bit by your dog and it seems like it's more my dog is like aggressive looking, was growling at me, showed teeth and bit me. Not we're just playing, having fun. That side of it is people are still scared, but you're not as scared compared to when a dog is dead stare looking at you in your eyes and it's showing teeth directly in your eyes. That's a terrifying experience. I've been in that a few times. It's terrifying to see that. To see that dog is just it's willing to commit. It's not ready to back down anymore. It's always back down, but now it's willing to commit. Because in reality, we've been doing stuff to that dog that the dog just looks at us as the way I want to say this isn't the best way of saying it, but it's the best way of saying it. As if we're equal. We're not equal being dog to dog. We're equal in a sense of the stuff that we do as human to dog, but we're not equal as I'm the same as you. I'm different than you. And the dog needs to understand that. And if we do all the same stuff that we watch what another dog does to a dog and we try to replicate that thinking that we're going to get somewhere with the dog, just expect that dog is going to treat you as a dog, as it should, because it doesn't know any other way. You're coming to it with the same level of communication, so of course the dog is going to give you that same level of communication back. That's why in most cases, stuff that we do to these dogs, usually first year, second year, we didn't really have any issues. It's like that third year, I'd say the second on most, some 50-pound dogs. Bigger dogs, a little bit later. But 50-pound dogs and like 20-pound and below dogs, usually like in that first year, for 20 and below, you start to get a little bit of pushback. Because the dog is having to do what dogs do. They have to match and be that dog that you're being to that dog. And if it's been getting picked on and pushed around and forced to do stuff that it doesn't like, it's gonna have a day that it's just like, I gotta do something about this. And each dog is different in that time frame, but pretty much they kind of just all do this. This is something that I hear across the board, especially with people that work with a lot of like dedicated working animals. You hit this stage where it's just like, what the heck? And then if you can get past that stage, you have an amazing animal for the remainder of the animal's life. But if you don't know how to deal with that part of that stage, you're headed for disaster, because that dog is going to be pushing you and pushing you and pushing you, because it knows how to get what it wants. It knows that if you have something in your hand and you're hesitant about giving it to it and it wants it and it shows little teeth or it gives a little grumble, growls a little bit, you're like, yeah, you can have it. And the dog is running the household at that moment. And the dog is, in my opinion, running the household because it believes that you are equal, dog to dog, in that stance. So that's why you need to come in a whole completely different way of looking at the dog as, I'm a human being to be able to work with this dog. I'm not a dog. I see what dogs do to dogs, but I'm smarter than this. I'm more intelligent than this to be able to get the dog to be able to work with me. And that doesn't come down to worrying about what that next training technique is. That comes down to just wondering what it is that you are looking for and you are desiring. Because a lot of this stuff is just, we want to go towards the said dog trainers. You know, some of us are, I'm going to say, proactive, which is like, you know, that's a great thing to do. But in some cases, being proactive actually like slows you down and destroys you more in reality, because you start to put too much into your mental processes that you start to question everything. Like, am I doing okay? Am I right? As opposed to just doing something. But being proactive can also be good, but being proactive in a way that you're getting what I want to say is the correct information of how to be able to be proactively good about what it is that you do. If someone says to you, you know, you got this brand new puppy, you got to do this, it's like, hold on a second. You're slapping so much on a dog that the dog don't even know who the heck you are. Same thing with first getting a dog out of the shelter. This. Well, hold on a moment. You don't even know nothing about this dog. So in most cases, when things kind of get really sticky is when you're in that situation that you're like, I don't know what to do. You weren't proactive. Not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but it's just what we do. And then you got into a situation where you're like, I don't know what's going on now. So then now you seek out some assistance, seek out some help. And then the help that you get, you know, they come in with, this is language that I learned in the dog school. And like hundreds, if not thousands of people have graduated from the school at this moment, are out working, doing what they're doing based on with this information. And this information is the same information that I can go across the board of looking at like hundreds and thousands of dog trainer YouTube videos, even not even people that are even out in public doing what they're doing, that are all doing and going by the same script, I'm going to say, and doing the same stuff. And in reality, you're coming at it as, I know this is where things get dangerous. This is where things get dangerous, people. And I don't want to scare anybody and make anybody nervous of your dog, but when you understand a different level of understanding with these dogs, you're no longer going to be fearful because you're going to see what's going on here. But what happens is, most cases, if you're having like huge issues with like, my dog is barking a fool at all the dogs, all the people. My dog is nipping me and biting me and growling at me and showing teeth at me. Most cases, I don't want to say it like this, but just straight up, we messed up. We did something that we shouldn't have done, where the dog looks at us as if we're a dog. We did whatever we did. We did the best that we could. We did everything we thought we could do, but we just ended up at a point that it's just like, what the heck? It's most cases the dog thinks that you're a dog. So the dog is going to do the same dog stuff to you. And when you watch dogs play, to me personally, this is why I don't really like letting my dogs play too much, because it's crazy looking. It is like, it is wild. And for me, I'm trying to get out of my cares and know-hows, allow the dogs to play, because it's just what they do. It's how they are. But for me, I get uncomfortable because I'm like, this is crazy looking. This is what I would say when I'm looking at some of the stuff. I'm like, this is aggressive looking. But it's just dogs doing what dogs do. And they're having fun. They're having a blast. I'm sitting here watching my Dalmatian and my Great Pyrenees play, and it looks crazy sometimes, but they're just prancing around, having good. She's chewing on him, and he's chewing on her, and I'm just like, neither of y'all better ever think about doing that to me, because that would put me in danger. I'd be in the hospital already, the way that I see the simple stuff that they do. Especially my shepherd with my Dalmatian. The way they play, oh my goodness, don't ever be growling at me like that. Don't be barking at me like that. Don't be jumping on me like that. Don't be doing that. Don't be wrestling me like that. That's dangerous. Like, it's dangerous. And it's dangerous when we have that going on. But then what happens is, the most of the dog training that comes in is like, we double down on the dogness. You need to be we don't use this language anymore because people just try to run away from it. But being like the alpha dog, or the I don't know what more words to put with that right now, but You understand what I'm saying? Now you need to be the alpha in the house now because the dog is not treating you right. So you need to be the alpha dog. That's like horrible understanding, even though we don't say that language anymore. It's the techniques and the things that we do that we're still treating the dog as if we are a dog. Such as the dog is, when a dog is jumping on another dog and the dog doesn't want it to do it. I see what my shadow does. There's times that he's just hanging out. He's like, we're off duty. And when a Dalmatian comes, because I mean, she can go all day in reality playing and just doing what she's doing. So when he says no to her, it's a good growl. A growl that's different than when he's barking the threat out. It's a completely different sound. And then the next thing that he does is he got a decent mouth. Johnny got a big mouth, but he'll put that mouth on her, and then he just like freezes. He's like, "We good? Okay, then we're done. We're finished. It's over with. We're completely out of that." And then for me, just me, I'm proactive with all of that. That if I see him even have this like get away from me, I'm instantly telling her to get away because I don't want him to think that he needs to fight and defend. That's where I'm going to say I'm getting out of being a dog, that I'm on top of the situation of a human being, of looking at this animal as we're different. We're different species out here. So when I see that already happen, that creates peace to him. He's like, oh, you see what's happening. You see what's going on. But most of the dog training, actually, we just double down into that. Because what he does to her, if I don't get into the middle of it before I'm like guiding her of what it is that I'm looking for from her, to just like, when he says to stop, you stop. I don't care what you want right now. He says to stop. When he goes to, in reality, straight up, he goes to violence. He's like, girl, I'm about to chew you if you don't stop doing what you're doing right now. And that's what we do to the dog. We go straight to that violence. We put that collar on and we'll choke that dog. We'll snap that dog. We'll do something to that dog. So we're treating the dog as if we're a dog. And this is where, some dogs, they just, oh, whatever, I'm sorry, I'll just sit down. So now you are the alpha dog. But what happens in the animal kingdom and animal world is we're always testing and challenging who's actually going to be fit for being said that leader when you're coming down to it in an animalistic sense like that. This is where the difference is. I understand us is what we are, is we could think things through and process things through and communicate things through, as opposed to just relying on animalistic instincts. That's what we have as humans are growing up to change to be on this planet, which is cool. But it's almost like we're going backwards, unfortunately. But when I come in and I do that to that dog, and that dog has a choice, it could submit or it can say, I challenge you. And unfortunately, most dogs, I don't know why, because I see video after video after video, and I see this in my face with people out in public and doing what you're doing, that when I see it, I just want to get in there, but it's not for me to do that. This is y'all world the same as mine. I can't make everyone do what it is that I do, but one thing that I do like is being able to relax and being able to keep the peace. And when the dog challenges you back, you got to come with a higher challenge now. That's where the concept that I can say, you need the slip leash to get the dog first, and it looks pretty good. But then the dog's like, you're not actually going to kill me, so you're just choking me. I can stiffen up my neck some to make that so it doesn't really hurt so much. And then the dog's like, what are you going to do next? And then that's where we got more and more and more equipment to keep going down into it. Because all we're doing is being a dog to the dog. We're not being a human being to the dog. The more that we just keep on double downing with trying to treat it as if we are the dog to that dog, the more that we are going to keep on going to battle after battle after battle after battle after battle. Because the trickiest part here is dogs, they got I don't want to say it in any way similar to how we are. When we have days that we're sad, emotional, anxious, just not 100%. Because I see this with my dogs, and I've seen this with human beings as well. And I've seen this with stuff that I shouldn't have seen this with. And especially with certain types of work that I've been in and been involved in and groups that I've been a part of and stuff in life. When the leader is good and strong, no one challenges it. But when the leader is having issues, it's starting to slip a little bit. It's starting to not be so confident anymore. Something else tries to come in to challenge that now. And that's what I personally see when I see a reactive barking dog at dogs and people and going crazy. Because there may have been a time in the day that the dog was like the leader was strong, but now the leader is weak. Now I needed to fight and defend. And then this is the worst stuff that I see that is, I don't think people quite even understand it yet, is with the term that we call redirect. When the dog is barking and barking, and then you pull on that leash and that dog comes back and it bites you. Because that dog is like, get out of here. You're too weak to stand up for what's going on here. I got to still handle business here. I don't need you weakness back there doing this to me, because I see the dogs do that to the dogs. Whoever the strong dog is in the moment, because it could change. This is where dog fights are like, complicated but simple at the same time when you really look at it this way. The one dog that's the strong dog, it can be strong today. And then the next day, all the dogs start to pile on that dog because it's showed a little bit of weakness. It's that weakness that comes in that gets the dog to like, it has to do something. That's why when the dogs are fence fighting and there's more than one and there's two or three, and then they're going, if one has any kind of weakness, one dog it's like instinctual in the dog to like get it out. You see them chew on each other. It gets crazy. That's why for me personally, I just don't allow my dogs to fence fight unless it's just one. My border collie can do it. I don't care if he does it. But I don't have like multiple dogs out there doing that at a time. Because because that's what, unfortunately, Johnny, he's going to have weakness to him when something's going on. Because my neighbor's dog he's cool, man. He's tough. He's not no weak little dog. He's tough. And my border collie is pretty tough. So they're tough together. They're fine. But once I introduce Johnny, man, who's not tough, he tries to think he is. Now my border collie has it in him where my Johnny's like trying to bark and bark and bark. My border collie's like, he sees Johnny get scared a moment and he's like, get the heck out of here. Don't even be in this. Like, get out of here. It has to happen. It has to work that way. That's just, unfortunately, the way that just things are on this planet. And that they're always fighting for, I don't want to use that word fighting for, but working towards being that leader. That's why the dog is looking for a solid quality leader, a patient, compassionate, relaxed, calm, chill, slow to anger, just very, very in a way of, I want to use this word stable, because you're able to manage, not control, but manage your emotions with knowing that things aren't that great, but you're not going to like go down a spiral every day over and over. You're able to stay fairly consistent. That's what the dogs in reality are looking for. And when they're not getting that, and what we're doing to them is trying to treat them as a dog, we're going to have the dog treat us in ways that is going to be sad. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely wild. So wild that you're just never going to really have this. This is where a lot of folks, unfortunately, you don't have no trust with the dog because you are unsure what's going to happen because you're like, is the dog going to listen now or is it going to go do what it's doing? You're always unsure because all we're doing is trying to be the said pack leader, the alpha dog. We're trying to get the dog to submit to us as opposed to just realizing the animal doesn't need to submit to us. It just needs to listen to us. And that comes down to treating the dog as a dog, not as a human being. This is where, for me, to each is your own, but I don't play with the dog like it's a dog. Like, I don't want to say that like that, but saying that in the sense that I am going to wrestle the dog the same way I see another dog wrestle another dog. That could set some people up for absolute failure because you're allowing the dog to be able to do something with you that is going to make you think that you're the same. And that's why you wonder why your dog is stealing your food from you, why you can't speak to it, why you got no words to it, why it doesn't listen to you. Because it's like, why do I need to listen to another dog? We're just dogs here doing what dogs do. And a dog is looking for that leader. This is where the unfortunate part is when two dogs, it's usually not so much as one dog takes off and does something crazy, but it's the 2 or the 3 or the 4 dogs. They go in a pack, they go off and they go do something crazy. They're doing what dogs do. And that's what your dog more than likely is anticipating you to also do. You're going to join in on this. That's why I see this 100% of the time. When the dog is in front on the leash, barking at another dog or barking at a person, they always look back on like, you gonna join in on this? Or are you scared? Okay, and stay back there. But if you try to pull that dog to get back to you, that's where things get a little hostile. Because that dog's like, I don't be next to you. Unless the dog, you are giving that language to that dog that you do want to get into this battle with them. And that's where things get super sketchy. But that's not the normal. The normal is the dog is just looking at you back there like, I got it for you. Don't worry about it. I know you're scared. I got this. I'll handle this. And it starts to get absolutely insane, intense, because the dog is just looking at you like you're just another dog. And that's something that a lot of us should really just think hard about with what it is that we're doing with these dogs. Is if you're looking at that animal in a way of seeing what a dog does to a dog and trying to replicate that, most cases, you're going to have to keep using more and more and more pressure because the dog is going to, worst case scenario, you get the wrong dog. Like that's where a lot of folks, you get the wrong dog. And that's why certain methods just don't work with some of these dogs. Like some of these Shepherds, some of these Mals, some of these Dutchies, some of these Border Collies, every breed in reality across the board, they all stem from being strong, independent, working animals. And when you come in with that type of dog and think that I'm going to try to keep on like correcting that dog to be able to just submit to me, you're going to run into a battle. And that battle is never going to be won. It's going to be constant. That's going to be going over and over and over. Where if you get a lot of these more submissive, more relaxed, more chill dogs, you know, you may get some success. That's where some people are like, well, some people, how come some people here getting success and others over here not getting success? It's because it depends on which type of dog that is. If that dog is already just a submissive dog, that just anything goes, you could chew on me, lick on me, beat me, slap me, and I'm a good dog, you know, good job. And a lot of people think they know how to work dogs because they have that dog. And then you end up with that next dog that's like, no, you're not going to do that to me. You're not going to treat me like this. You're not going to talk to me that way. You're not going to be like this with me. And he starts to challenge you. That's what scares most people. Because unfortunately, a lot of people, you get that one dog and you're like, I can get another one. No, just be happy with your one dog that you have and grow up and live in these lands and just live with that dog for 15 years, have fun with it, enjoy it. Because most cases, 15 years later, if you happen to get that dog that is like just independent, very strong, very just all about business, you're going to be older and hopefully have more experience and more understanding on how to work with that dog and be able to get somewhere with that dog. But the thing is as soon as you try to do it, because that's the problem that I've had with, I mean, all except Johnny. Johnny's he shows teeth. He'll even put his mouth on you, but he won't do anything about it. He's my only one that's just like he looks scary when he shows teeth. So he's the most scary looking one of them all. But the other dogs, all my other ones, when I'm coming in with like, I said so, you better so, they all have looked at me and challenged that. And I instantly, when that happens with me and my dogs personally, I just had the intuition of just saying, I'm not doing that. I'm not going down that route. I'm not about that. I'm not going to keep fighting further into this. I'm going to figure out a whole different way to work with this. And then I started to find other people, other trainers, other stuff, giving me more information about this and realizing like that is valid of how we should be treating these dogs, not treating it as a dog. When the dog wants to challenge me, it's more than likely I'm doing something to the dog that the dog thinks that I am also a dog. Because now my dogs, they don't challenge me. I have zero challenges for my dogs across the board. Because I 100% know that I am not going to do anything to that dog like it's a dog. Like I'm a dog. I'm going to do everything that dog knows that I'm a human being. And I'm the supplier of everything and anything that the animal is looking for. That I'm not working together as a team to go hunt. In reality, we're not chewing on it. We work as a team to go mouse hunting and doing what we're doing here, but they understand. I'm the one with the rifle. I got a BB gun. I guess it's a rifle. I'm the one with that. I'm the one with the light to figure it out. You guys are the ones that are going to find it and look for it. They understand our roles here. They're not treating me as if I'm the dog as well with them. They're understanding that I'm the one that's the leader, the stable one, the calm one, the patient one, the one that knows where all the good stuff is in reality. And I allow the dogs to be able to help me get there. They're not looking at me like I am also the dog. Because if there was, man, they'd be chewing on me doing what we're doing. It'd be crazy. It'd be wild. And so since I have that relationship with those dogs, they don't have to look at me and say, well, what are you going to do about it if I don't do that? They just do it. They just get it done. They just make it happen. And that makes life so simple and so easy. But the hard part is when the dog thinks that you're a dog, it's going to challenge you. It's going to look at you. It's going to say, I don't want to do it right now. And you're going to say, well, why don't you just sit? I'm not going to do that right now. And that's where a lot of folks are getting into problems because a dog doesn't think of you as anything other than just a dog. Because that's all that we're doing to the dogs is double downing into showing them that I'm a dog. So why should you listen to me in reality? That's just something that is just really fascinating to really just think about. With especially when you're paying attention to dog training tips and tips and all that stuff. Especially with like one thing that is real fascinating that I would suggest any like especially trainers, but you know if you just really like these dogs and stuff to get into it more, watch puppies. Like the mama with the puppies. Watch the interaction go on with all of that. When the puppy goes too far, what does the mom do? When the puppy's trying to chew too hard, what does the mama do? And just watch what goes on with that. And you're going to notice that a lot of the said training techniques that we do are the same way. When the puppy goes too far, just pay attention to what that mom does to that puppy to get that puppy to come back. And really, if you're doing that same thing, Just understand that that dog now looks at you as like you're just a mama dog. You're just a dog. You're not a human. You're not a human at all. Thank you. I think the one thing that really fast tracked my understanding of realizing how dogs function is watching wild dogs. I'm not talking about the ones in Africa that are those call them, I guess you could say, feral dogs. I'm talking like domesticated wild dogs. Like they're all around every neighborhood here. Everyone has them. We just don't get a chance to really see them because they're hidden. They have to stay hidden because they have to survive. They're trying to survive to live. That there's some that are like, so I will say the real soft, more submissive dogs, they're gonna go find somebody. But there's some dogs that are just tough. They're dogs and they're living out there. I mean, there's some fascinating videos I've seen of dogs that are living with coyote groups. Like there's one where there's a little pitty, a little white pitty. It's the coolest thing that he's part of, or she, what I don't know what sex it was, but was living with coyotes. And it's fascinating to see what these wild dogs do and how they interact with each other and what goes on. Because when you watch them, there's one, I don't know what country it's in, it's somewhere, but it's fascinating. This guy's got like hours and hours of video of watching these dogs, and he'll feed them sometimes and just do stuff for them sometimes, and seeing how the dogs act with each other. You could tell the say alpha. There's that boy and the girl. There's two of them, but the girls are usually, they'll fight when they have puppies. When they don't have puppies, they're just kind of like pretty like whatever the man is looking for in reality. Not the man, but the little boy dog. But there's that one that's like, he the boss. And always, every time, every day, there's another dog that is like, I want to do that. I want to be that. So then they have to fight. And when that fight goes on, most cases, the alpha man usually wins. Pretty much. He just wins after wins after wins because he's got experience. The more experienced fighter you are, you're gonna win. If you're just like, I want that position and you don't know how to fight, this is animalistic world, guys. This is why, for me, they go to violence. This is why in dog training, we should not be going to violence. Because when you're on the sidelines, like for instance me, if I'm like, I see somebody and I had to go to violence and to be able to get so we're in Mad Max world right now, and there's a leader out there and this guy is like, he's got 50 knockouts, professional, a fighter. I'm talking that weird fighting they do today where it's just like hand-to-hand combat, anything goes type fighting. And that guy's got 50 professional wins, and I'm going to come up to him and say, I want your position. That dude's going to knock me clean out in like 15 seconds. Shoot. In 5 seconds. He maybe not knock me out, but he's going to do something to me to make me submit to say, don't try it, buddy. I don't have experience. I don't have like all that to be able to do that. Where he's going to be able to stay at that top and be able to keep maintaining the top because of the level of violence that he's able to put upon people. And that's what goes on with the dogs. The dog is going to stay there until something comes in and is able to just finally take it out. And when it takes it out, okay, now there's a new leader. But the unfortunate thing is that the old leader is still going to keep challenging, as well as there's also a whole gang of other dogs out there that are all trying to challenge for that same position again. They're all going for that position. And for whatever reason, I don't know why they want that position so badly, but they just want that position. And that's the thing with us as humans. I don't know why we want that position of power so bad. And I don't know why it's just in us, like we just want it. It's like, just chill out, relax, just calm down, man, calm down. But they want it so bad. And then once that violence starts, now it's like, okay, you won, but let me heal up. Let me rest up. I'm going to try you again the next day. I'm going to try you again the next week. I'm going to try you again the next month. And that's why the unfortunate thing that I just personally see when it comes down to most dog training stuff, that's why we need to continue the said control and management. We need to continue being everything and precise. We need to continue saying no to that dog. We need to continue that all day over and over and over and over and over again. And someone's going to say, oh, no, I've finally been able to fade that away. Yeah, just once you really relax, this is the part with dogs that to me, because I know animals too much, they can be scary. You may seem like you're having a good stretch. And then as soon as you start to calm down and relax, that's when that dog is now going to say, okay, now is my chance. Now is my chance to get what I want. And it's going to come back and it's going to start to challenge again. That's what I still have yet to see a single of these mainstream dog trainers show their dogs with no nothingness for long periods of time. Because they always say the same thing. The dog needed a refresher. Every single trainer says the same thing. They'll be e-collar trained, say it's done the right way, wrong way, who knows, but it's done. It's whatever's good. They've done all this stuff to the dog, and then they finally like say got all of it off, and the dog is good. They always, always, always have another video, months, weeks, even a year later. I got to do a refresher course on my dog again. I got to put the e-collar back on. I got to do this. You always have to keep doing that because the dog is going to eventually get to that point of saying, I got to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you. You want me to sit? I don't feel like doing it. What are you going to do about it? And you're like, dude, you've been sitting so good for the past 4 months. Why are you not listening now? Oh, you need a refresher. Let me do a refresher course on you. And then, so you buying some time now. You bought some more time through that refresher course. So to let the dog know, you're still under me. I'm still the alpha dog here. And then you finally relax again later on because it's just what we do. We get, what is it called, complacent. We get complacent. We start to chill out. And then you chill out, then that dog's like, okay, now's my time again. So then the dog takes off further than you want him to, and it doesn't come back on a recall. I need a refresher course. I need a refresher my e-collar training. It's just a constant thing that just keeps constantly going on over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. And that's why I'm saying that we're treating the dog as if we are a dog to the dog. When you do that, the dog's going to constantly keep challenging you. But when you treat the dog as if you're a human being, calm, patient, understanding, just forgiving. My goodness, forgiving is a powerful thing to really put in there. The dog didn't sit correctly. It's okay. We'll try again. Being forgiving. These things that we as humans are all about that most of these animals on this planet, unfortunately, don't understand. That's how we separate ourselves from them. And when we come in that way, we are going to have phenomenal, great, amazing results. But when you're having to treat it like a dog, I'm telling you, they challenge you. The tiniest little challenges too. And sometimes for some people, depending on how you are and how strong or fragile your ego is, simply your dog not coming back to you in a flash, I need a refresher course. I got to put it back. I got to get this because that's just what's going to happen. It's going to happen over and over and over again.